Downing Street said the matter was closed. The front page of every single national newspaper suggests otherwise. The Health Secretary, Matt Hancock, caught kissing an aide, breaching his own social distancing rules at the time. Questions now over whether he broke the ministerial code employing Gina Coladangelo, here in the pink dress. And one more question. Can he keep his job?
Matt Hancock has been a very effective minister, a very effective Secretary of State. Issues about what happens to Matt Hancock is between him and the Prime Minister.
Last year, when government scientific advisor Neil Ferguson was caught breaching guidelines in a similar way, this is what Mr Hancock advised.
He took the right decision.
You wouldn't have...
To resign, that is.
You wouldn't have fought to keep him.
That's just not possible in these circumstances.
This afternoon, the first Tory MP came out to say Mr Hancock should follow his own advice. Duncan Baker told the Eastern Daily Press, in my view, people in high public office and great positions of responsibility should act with the appropriate morals and ethics that come with that role. Matt Hancock, on a number of measures, has fallen short of that. I have, in the strongest possible terms, told the government what I think. Asked whether Matt Hancock should therefore resign, Mr Baker responded, yes. Ms Coladangelo is an old friend of Mr Hancock's from their time at Oxford University, and she's a former lobbyist. Now she is a taxpayer-funded non-executive director at the Department of Health. And what many want to know is, what was the process by which she got this job, and does her appointment breach the ministerial code?
When you're in that situation where someone it seems that you're involved with is in a taxpayer-funded role in your department, and that, you know, on the way to doing that, you've not just breached regulations or guidance, you've breached the law. That is a really fundamental undermining of the public trust. It's obviously it's a massive conflict of interest, and it's not acceptable.
The health story of the day was meant to be the Grab a Jab campaign. No appointments, mass walk-ins, and open to all over 18s in England, like this one at Charlton Athletic Football Club in South London.
How many people do you think you've had through the doors today?
3,000.
How many do you reckon you've done?
I've done about 75 patients.
The fear, good work here being undermined by what's happening on Whitehall. When the Prime Minister's former Special Advisor Dominic Cummings took a trip to Barnard Castle last year during lockdown, Conservative MPs were inundated with angry emails from constituents. But when there were questions over who paid for the refurbishment of the Prime Minister's private flat, it seemed to trouble voters less. The question now is, after more than a year of enduring lockdown measures imposed by Matt Hancock, will the public be willing to cut him any slack?
I think it's disgraceful, but he's the one giving all the orders saying that you shouldn't be you should be social distancing, and he's not, and he's cuddling somebody that's not even in his family. So
do you think he can keep his job?
I hope not.
Everyone's going to have a mess up at one point, so I feel like, yeah, he's the man.
It's human, it's got nothing, I don't think he should lose his job for that.
But there's the public issue of the fact that it's a personal friend that has been given a non-executive role, and he's in breach of the social distancing guidelines that he himself was responsible for drafting and implementing.
So you want him gone?
Yes.
A Downing Street spokesman said Boris Johnson had accepted Mr Hancock's apology, adding the Prime Minister had full confidence in the Health Secretary. The matter is closed. There remain questions, though, over security and how these images of the Health Secretary in a private setting were acquired. But this afternoon, as another Conservative backbench MP said Matt Hancock should resign, the immediate threat to him is less how the footage was obtained and whether his job can be retained.
Well, in the last few moments, the Health Secretary, Matt Hancock, has resigned. I'm joined now by Paul McNamara. Paul, what's the latest?
Yeah, well, things have moved pretty swiftly from case closed to within 24 hours, the Health Secretary's gone. This is the letter that he sent to the Prime Minister. It's literally hot off the press. He says, "Dear Prime Minister, I am writing to resign as Secretary of State for Health and Social Care. We work so hard as a country to fight this pandemic. The last thing I would want is for my private life to distract attention from the single-minded focus that is leading us out of this crisis. I want to reiterate my apology for breaking the guidance and apologise to my family and loved ones for putting them through this. I also need to be with my children at this time. We owe it to the people who have sacrificed so much in this pandemic to be honest when we have let them down, as I have done by breaching the guidance."
And that is key, isn't it? It must have seemed inevitable. The man who created the guidance not adhering to the guidance.
Absolutely. I mean, so let's go back to the guidance. The guidance at the time that this picture was taken of this romantic clinch was May 6th. The guidance on cuddling didn't change until May 17th. That's the best part of 2 weeks there. He's in clear breach of rules. The idea that Matt Hancock would then go in front of the public again and say, look, the rules have changed, we need you to do this, to so many people. So MPs that we've been speaking to today have said, this is ridiculous now, the idea that the man could go to the country and plead them to stick by rules, which he wasn't doing himself.